Hey, Nate Guinane here. Today I'm going to show you how to establish an after repair value or an ARV, as I promised in my last video. So today to get started, like I said, so we're going to establish an ARV, which is after repair value. I'll write it just so it's sitting there. After repair value. So what this means is this is what it's worth once you fix a property up. This is what you can sell it for. This is what your neighborhood commands. And this is obviously, every case is different depending on where you're at, but you find it the same way. So what you're going to do is there's a few criteria here, and you can just give them to a realtor and he can pull the comps for you. There's a couple other ways to do it, but the criteria is what matters. So what you want to do is you want to judge apples to apples. So meaning you want to, if you have a ranch a certain size, you want to look at other ranches within a certain distance that have sold for a premium amount, but it has to be a similar size home and everything. So I'll walk you through it. So number one criteria, this is the most important: location, location, location. So it's got to be within half a mile, and all of these criteria, this is what appraisers will look at. This is how they value the property. So the reason you do it the way I'm going to lay it out is so you have almost a guaranteed thing. Once you get good enough, you know for a fact that 6 months down the line, when this house goes to sell and an appraiser walks through, you know what comps he's going to use. So you want to be looking within a half a mile. You're looking at other sold houses, not for sale, nothing. You want to look at houses that have actually sold, and they must be within a half a mile. Certain cities, if you're right here and a half mile that way jumps you to another city that's a different class or something, that doesn't work. So but you can pretty much always go within a half a mile, case by case. Sometimes you can't, but yeah, that's a situational thing. So in general, you can go within a half a mile. Two, you want to look at only houses that have sold in the last 3 months. I'm going to explain that. I'll say 90 days sold. So the houses all have to be sold, like I said, and they have to be in the last 90 days. An appraiser can look at the last 6 months, but when you're buying a house, if you look at a house that sold 6 months ago, by the time you're done with it and have a buyer, the appraiser comes through, that comp is going to be thrown out. If you look at anything within the last 90 days, by the time you buy it, rehab it, your rehab just take 1 to 2 months most of the time, put it up for sale, find a buyer, say that's a 3-month process, the appraiser will go back 6 months and all your comps will count. So then that way you're almost guaranteed you know the value. If you look, like I said, if you're looking at all comps 6 months ago, none of those matter. So since then your value could have dropped, and you're kind of at a risky situation. So within a half a mile, sold within the last 90 days. The next and most important one, like I said, is apples to apples. So you're looking at a brick house. So you want to go brick. You want to compare brick to brick, or vinyl to vinyl, etc. So whatever kind of house, however it's built, you want to look at the similar built ones. In certain situations, if you have a vinyl house and all the comps everywhere near you are all brick, you can just deduct money. It's a specific situation. As a beginner, I wouldn't do that. If you're looking at a house and you're looking at a vinyl house and you can't find one vinyl house sold in that area, either find someone that's an expert, ask me, I can try to give you my opinion, ask realtors. But if it's your first deal, I would say try to get brick for brick, get vinyl for vinyl, okay? Number 4, you want, and same thing with that, if it has a basement, find other ones with basements. If it's on a crawl, other houses have to have a crawl, garage to garage. All that stuff has to be the same. And like I said, the newer you are to investing, the more you want to stick to this without veering at all. So number 4 here, and this is very important, bathrooms. If you have a 2-bath house, in bathrooms and bedrooms. So if you have a, same bed, bath. So if you're looking at a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, have all your comps be 3 bedrooms, 1-bath house. If your comp's a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, obviously that's nothing. That's not the same at all. That could be a family of 6 or 7 could buy that. This, a family of 3 or 4 would look at this. So it's a different ball game. And if anything, if you're looking at a house that say is 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and you find a comp that's everything else is the same. So within half a mile, within 90 days, it's brick. Yours is brick, same size, everything. But say theirs is a 3-1, meaning 1 bathroom, yours is a 3-3. You can use that comp because yours is actually better than that. So that'll work. But never look at a comp that has more bathrooms or more bedroom than yours. All right, and then 5, and this is also very important. Try to look at houses as close to square footage as your house is possible, and try not to go beyond 150 square feet. So plus or minus 150. So if your house is 1,500 square feet, you're allowed to look at houses that are 1,350 square feet up to 1,650 square feet. That's if you're looking at a 1,500 square foot house. You know, and this rule works for all standard houses. If you're in 10,000 square foot houses, it's kind of a different ball game. But this is for these rules here. 1, within half a mile, within 90 days, brick to brick, vinyl to vinyl, same beds and baths or less. You can look at comps with less, not more, never more. Plus or minus 150 square feet. So like I said, if you're a beginner, ask your realtor, give him this criteria, make sure he follows it. If he gives you a comp, have him give you all the data on it. You'll be able to double check the square footage, what it's made out of, basement, garage. Make sure it's very similar to yours, same neighborhood. And then you'll see the sold prices. So, and you want 3 to 5. So that's my last one. So you want a minimum, absolute minimum of 3 comps. 3 to 5 comps. The more the better. I mean, if he gave you 20 comparable sales in the last 90 days, that's great. Just more data to look at. And you also, since you're rehabbing this, you want to make it as nice as possible. You're not looking at the foreclosure sales. You're not looking at the vacants, the ones that need a ton of work. What you're looking at is ones that have been rehabbed or ones that were lived in that are really nice. So you're pretty much going to look at the top 20% of sales. So if you don't want to, like I said, you don't want to look at a $50,000 house when other ones are selling for 100. You don't care about those. So say he gives you 3, 1 sold for like 150, 1 sold for 145, and say 1 sold for 159, and say these houses are almost identical to yours, sold in the last 90 days. And I'll talk about this DOM. It means days on market. It's how long a property took to sell. So they put it up for sale today and they sold it 30 days later. Their days on market is 30. That's very important. So say this one sold in 2 days, this one sold in 4 days, and say this one sold in 35 days. And days on market is important to investor. The quicker you can sell it, the better. Plus, this shows how hot the market is. If you have houses selling for 100 days, and they're all selling like taking 100 days, they're either way overpriced or just not a hot market, not an area to flip in. But if this is it, this looks great. So 2 days, 150, 4 days, 145. So then this one here took 35 days. You want to look into why. Were they priced too high? Is this just like a partial rehab? Someone lived in it. Maybe there's work to do. But this one, since it's 35 days, I would look more towards these because you want quick sales. So if that was me, I would say I got $150,000 ARV. And I would say that's my ARV. If this was a 5-day sale as well, then I would basically just fall right in the middle, and it would still fall around 150,000. And like I said, after you do this yourself, like I said, get a realtor to pull actual comps off the MLS, send them to you using your criteria. Double check that he used your criteria. So each comp you sent, double check its square feet, double check the beds and baths, make sure it's brick to brick, vinyl to vinyl. Make sure it's in with the last 90 days. That'll all be in his information from the MLS. And double check that's within half a mile. Like I said, have them give you everything in the last 90 days. You want every single one. And you're really only going to look at the higher end one, the ones that sold for larger amounts. Double check it. Come up with your ARV. After you do it, to ask him, say, hey, this is what I think it's worth. What do you think? Or ask him first, let him give you an answer, and then if it's close to yours, you know you're on the right path. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If there's any questions, let me know. If there's anything else that somehow I'm missing, please let me know, and I'll help you as best I can. All right, thanks.